in the morning.
Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful day. We have an incredibly intense and heartbreaking update to share with you today, one that will forever alter the landscape of Genoa City and the legacy of its most prominent family. Let us dive deeply into the devastating emotional fallout and the dark turns awaiting our favorite character. The shattered illusion of control hangs heavily over the Newman family as a catastrophic series of events begins to unfold, forever altering the intricate dynamics of Genoa City. Nick Newman had firmly believed he was the architect of a masterful, necessary intervention. Driven by a desperate, consuming need to protect the mother of his children from a known predator, he thought he could manipulate the emotional chessboard to his advantage. His strategy was deeply rooted in using Summer and Daniel as the ultimate leverage, hoping that the promise of a restored family would be enough to pull Phyllis Summers away from the dangerous gravitational pull of Matt Clark. However, Nick vastly underestimated the fiercely independent and deeply wounded psychology of Phyllis. The fiery redhead has never been one to accept being managed, manipulated, or controlled, and her retaliation against what she perceives as a massive overreach is nothing short of apocalyptic. To understand the sheer magnitude of the impending explosion, one must delve deeply into the psychological foundation of Phyllis's extreme reaction. Her current actions are not merely about defending a new, thrilling romance with Matt Clark. They are the explosive culmination of decades spent feeling scrutinized, judged, and ultimately discarded by the Newman family machine. When Phyllis inevitably discovers the terrifying truth that Nick has been orchestrating the illegal surveillance of Matt's ankle monitor, she does not see the desperate, protective measures of an ex-husband who still cares for her safety. Instead, she sees the suffocating, toxic grip of a family that has always tried to dictate her life, her choices, and her worth. In her deeply traumatized and defensive state of mind, Matt Clark ceases to be a dangerous criminal and tragically transforms into a twisted symbol of her own autonomy and rebellion against the Newman Empire. The mechanics of this profound betrayal set the stage for a legal and emotional bloodbath that will leave no one unscathed. Phyllis, operating with a cold, calculated fury, meticulously gathers the undeniable evidence of the surveillance operation. She pieces together the digital and financial trails connecting the private investigators directly to Nick, her anger fermenting into a blinding desire for absolute vengeance. She refuses to be treated like a helpless victim or a piece of property to be managed from the shadows. Making a decision that will irrevocably fracture her family, she chooses to weaponize the justice system itself. Phyllis prepares to file a devastating lawsuit that will not only publicly humiliate Nick, but will also legally brand him as an obsessive, controlling stalker, completely flipping the narrative of who is the actual threat in this deeply toxic triangle. The moment the lawsuit is officially filed, the entire atmosphere in Genoa City shifts into a state of suffocating tension. Phyllis is not simply asking for a slap on the wrist or a quiet mediation. She is aggressively demanding a strict, uncompromising restraining order against Nick, citing severe harassment, emotional abuse, and illegal tracking. In her legal filings, she masterfully frames his actions not as the benevolent, desperate measures of a concerned father figure, but as the erratic, dangerous maneuvers of an unstable ex-lover who simply cannot accept that she has moved on. By taking this extreme legal route, Phyllis deliberately forces the private, messy, emotional baggage of their shared history into the unforgiving, sterile light of a public courtroom, ensuring that the damage inflicted will be permanent and highly visible. Receiving the legal documents feels like a devastating physical blow to Nick, sending him into a terrifying psychological collapse. He is entirely paralyzed by the sheer, staggering injustice of the situation he now finds himself in. His entire motivation, every single action he took, was rooted in a profound, desperate need to save Phyllis from a man with a documented history of violence and manipulation. Yet, as he reads through the scathing allegations meticulously detailed in the lawsuit, he is forced to confront the agonizing reality that his benevolent intentions have been masterfully twisted into a horrifying narrative of toxic obsession. The profound betrayal cuts him to his very core, leaving him questioning his own sanity and the devastating cost of his protective instinct. The day of the highly anticipated courtroom hearing arrives, blanketed in an oppressive, suffocating atmosphere that seems to drain the oxygen from the room. The heavy mahogany walls of the courthouse seem to close in on the fractured Newman family as the legal battle lines are definitively drawn. Phyllis sits rigidly at the plaintiff's table, radiating a terrifying, righteous indignation that masks her deep-seated insecurity. She is entirely consumed by her own carefully constructed narrative of victimhood, completely and tragically blind to the literal monster sitting quietly in the gallery behind her. Matt Clark watches the proceedings with a sickening, silent satisfaction, relishing the glorious chaos he has indirectly caused without having to lift a single finger. Taking the witness stand, Phyllis delivers a chilling masterclass in character assassination that leaves the entire courtroom in stunned silence. She paints a vivid, deeply heartbreaking picture of herself as a strong, independent woman desperately trying to rebuild her life, only to be relentlessly hounded and terrorized by an ex-husband who fundamentally refuses to respect her boundary. She ruthlessly weaponizes their extensive, complicated shared history, dragging up every past argument, every instance of Newman family overreach, and every past heartbreak to validate her current claims of severe harassment. Her words are sharp, precise, and designed to inflict maximum psychological damage, completely obliterating any lingering affection or goodwill between them. Sitting silently at the defense table, Nick endures an excruciating psychological torture that defies description. He is forced to watch, entirely powerless, as his reputation, his character, and his fundamental decency are systematically dismantled piece by piece by the woman he once loved with all his heart. He looks desperately into Phyllis's eyes across the sterile courtroom, searching for even a fleeting glimmer of the vibrant, passionate woman he knows is buried somewhere inside, but he finds only a hardened, hostile stranger who is entirely willing to destroy him to protect a dangerous criminal. The bitter, agonizing irony of the situation threatens to consume him entirely, leaving him hollowed out and emotionally bankrupt. The tragedy of this legal warfare reaches its absolute, devastating zenith when the collateral damage is brought into the spotlight. Summer and Daniel, entirely against their will, are subpoenaed and dragged into the bitter, unforgiving center of their parents' public spectacle. Nick's original, flawed plan was to use his children as an emotional shield, a beacon of hope to pull Phyllis away from the darkness of Matt Clark. Instead, Phyllis's aggressive legal maneuver has weaponized their existence, forcing them to take the stand and choose sides in a brutal war they never wanted to fight. The psychological weight placed upon their shoulders is crushing, threatening to permanently destroy whatever fragile bonds still exist within the fractured family unit. When Summer is forced to take the witness stand, the profound emotional toll is visible in every trembling breath she takes and every agonizing pause before she speaks. She is trapped in an impossible, soul-crushing paradox. She knows with absolute certainty that Matt Clark is a dangerous, predatory threat, and she knows in her heart that her father was only trying to protect her mother from a catastrophic mistake. Yet, under the unforgiving, relentless pressure of cross-examination, she is legally bound by oath to admit to the existence of the surveillance plot. Every forced admission feels like a betrayal of her father, while simultaneously validating her mother's deeply flawed lawsuit, tearing Summer's heart into pieces. Daniel's presence in the courtroom is marked by a heavy, simmering resentment that radiates from him like heat from a furnace. He is already carrying deep, unhealed wounds from his mother's past betrayals, particularly her disastrous, selfish actions during the recent Newman Enterprises takeover. Being legally compelled to testify about his father figure's illegal surveillance operation only deepens the massive, unbridgeable chasm between him and Phyllis. As he speaks, the bitter disappointment in his voice is palpable. The trial completely obliterates any lingering, desperate hope of the family reconciliation that Nick had so meticulously tried to broker, leaving Daniel feeling more alienated and orphaned than ever before. The judge's final ruling falls upon the courtroom like a heavy, unforgiving guillotine, severing the last remaining ties between the warring faction. Citing the undeniable, concrete evidence of the illegal tracking of the ankle monitor and the severe emotional distress inflicted upon the plaintiff, the court officially grants Phyllis the strict restraining order she demanded. The legal mandate instantly creates an impenetrable, invisible wall between Nick and Phyllis. He is legally forbidden from coming anywhere near her, stripped entirely of his ability to intervene in her life, and officially branded a public menace by the justice system. The sharp, final strike of the judge's gavel echoes through the room, signaling the absolute death of Nick's protective crusade. The immediate aftermath of the devastating hearing leaves Nick in a state of profound, bitter realization and utter defeat. He has lost absolutely everything in this desperate gamble to save a woman who fundamentally did not want to be saved by him. His relationship with his beloved children is severely strained by the trauma of the trial. His once sterling public image is deeply tarnished by the allegations of stalking, and his protective instincts have been entirely legally neutralized. He is forced to walk out of the courthouse and watch from the sidelines, completely and utterly powerless, as the woman he sacrificed his reputation for walks willingly into the waiting arms of the abyss. With the restraining order firmly in place, and the Newman family legally barred from interfering, the dynamic between Phyllis and Matt Clark undergoes a terrifying, subtle, and immediate shift. Matt no longer has to worry about the looming, constant threat of Nick's protective interference or the watchful eyes of the Newman security apparatus. The invisible, protective shield that Nick had so desperately tried to maintain around Phyllis has been entirely shattered by her own hand. Slowly, methodically, the charming, misunderstood, and deeply empathetic facade that Matt had carefully constructed to lure Phyllis in begins to crack, revealing the cold, predatory darkness that has always lurked just beneath the surface. In the chilling silence that follows the legal storm, Matt begins to systematically isolate Phyllis, subtly cutting off her few remaining lifelines, under the insidious guise of protecting her from the toxic, controlling influence of her family. Phyllis, entirely blinded by the intoxicating rush of her legal victory over Nick and her desperate need to prove everyone wrong, fails to notice the walls rapidly closing in around her. As Matt's true monstrous nature begins to bleed into their daily interactions, a harsh word here, a controlling demand there, a horrifying, paralyzing reality sets in. With Nick legally barred from coming to her rescue under threat of imprisonment, and her children thoroughly traumatized and alienated by the brutal trial, who will be left to hear Phyllis scream when the monster finally decides to drop his mask entirely and strike?